podcast on. When the lights go low, we're ready to go. Vibes, let the energy flow. Gaming screens and a whole lot more. D&L Podcast, we the core. From consoles to PCs, we're breaking the scene.
Hey, welcome back to the D&L Gaming Podcast. We're here to dive into the world of content creation, gaming, and everything in between. I'm your host, The Looker 204. We've got a little bit of a switch up here today. The dingy scroll is not here, but stepping in as my guest co-host is none other than Jynk. Jynk, how's it going?
It's going.
That's good to hear. Now, today's topic is one that a lot of content creators think about. Going full-time. Everybody dreams about turning it into their passion, into a career, but is it really everything it's cracked up to be? The reality is that full-time streaming is something many don't talk about. The financial struggles, the mental burnout, and the pressure to stay relevant. Joining us to break it all down is our guest, FreedomSlanger Gaming. He's been streaming now for 2 years, full-time since August of last year. He's focused on building a long-term drama-free community while pushing for sponsorships and partnership. FreedomSlanger, welcome to the show.
Appreciate you for having me, man.
How's everything doing? Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh, can't beat it. Well, I'm FreedomSlanger. A lot of you may have seen me before. At least you see my posts flying around. Pretty big in survival or first-person shooter games, not Call of Duty. Not to throw shade. But it's a streamer dad, just chasing it, man.
That's awesome to hear. Well, all right. Let's get into it. Full-time streaming, dreams versus reality. What does it really take to make it work? And is there a right move for everyone? Let's hop in. Segment 1, introducing... that was a weird typo there. FreedomSlanger, let's start with your background. You've had a very interesting life before streaming. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
Starting up in a very business-oriented family, everyone in the family worked for themselves. For the most part. Coming into the careers for myself, I've worked for myself for the last few years. Client related. Nobody actually works for themselves. I've had a wide variety of jobs ranging from dangerous and armed type of careers all the way to right before I started streaming full time, I was a legitimate cowboy and horse trainer. There's not much I haven't done, so coming home and working solely here in the office was a big change for me. But one that myself and my other half both that we really pushed for me to get.
Awesome. So were there any impactful experiences that you had that really help you in this new career of yours?
Yeah, so, coming from like a firearms background, firearms training, things like that, games like Tarkov, Arena Breakout, Delta Force, things like that, they come a little natural to me with the movements, the weapons, the strategy for moving from this place to the next. But that really, not a lot more that I did in the rest of the career fields really came over to gaming, minus the to have a ritual every day, so to speak, getting up, doing everything out in a scheduled manner.
Okay, and that's awesome. I'm very much a scheduled and structured person myself. I thrive in that environment.
I don't.
Fair. What made you decide to get into streaming in the first place with such a colorful background?
It was always kind of like a go-to for me, not coming into streaming myself, but watching. I'd come home to decompress at the end of the day after whatever job, I was coming home from, and I'd watch streamers, or I'd play games with my nephew or my sons. My nephew, you see on a lot of my streams or a lot of my VODs. And one day, I ended up with this PC, and we kept adding, and I looked around, I was like, why don't I start? I've got everything I need, and I just kind of jumped into it.
Did you have any initial expectations of it, or hopes or dreams on day one when you first got into it?
Day one, not really. Just to kind of, meet some people to play with more. That's kind of how my first goal was. Like, hey, I'm playing this game. I don't know a lot about it. Maybe somebody that does will come along and I can play with you. It just kind of grew from there.
Perfect. Do you remember your first stream?
I do was Call of Duty, yes.
Any mayhem or mishaps or glitches? Because me personally, my first stream, I probably made every mistake you could possibly make. The first half of the stream with no mic on, camera broke halfway through, and I suck at the game, so that was like 3 strikes, and I'm like, well, back to the drawing board for me. What about yourself? Is anything that sticks out for you?
Yeah. Oh man, I'm notorious. If you check any of my VODs, I'm notorious for going a solid 5-10 minutes to the stream, and my mic is just steady muted, or my desktop audio is muted. Thank God for my mod, my other half. She'll shoot me a text real quick because I can't hear anything and shit. So I'll look over everything and just start over. Unfortunately, I don't start stream over, but I start talking over.
I made that mistake today, so I feel ya. So, was there any specific moment or a time or a pinnacle of sorts that made you decide I'm gonna go full time?
So my very last career playing cowboy out in the world, it has this, of course, like anything, ups and downs. But a job like that in the area where I live is just shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. And my body's beat up from the colorful life I've lived and continue to live, as I try to beat myself up at least 5 times a week. My other half, she sat down and said, "What was put an end to this, because where I was, the ranch I was at was coming to an end for me." And she, "Well, won't you start streaming? Sit down, take some time off from being out in the weather, from being out in manual labor, and start streaming." And I don't think really either one of us had planned that it would be long term until the wheels started rolling, and we're still running with it.
Okay, that's amazing. Yeah, that's Amanda Lou, correct?
That is my famous mod,
Yeah.
my little pit bull.
One of the first times you and I ever interacted, she tried to kick me out of your stream for me, like, "Hey, how's it going, man?" Because she thought
did.
I was a bot or trying to sell you something, and whew.
I remember that was on my Ready or Not. I could even tell you the DLC I was running, and I had to stop and go, wait, what's happening here?
Yeah. So at that time when I met you, you went by a different name. Is there
Yes.
a reason for that?
D&L Gaming was kind of like a haha moment, and when I got the PC and we were getting it set up, Amanda Lou, she set most of the stuff up. I'm not real technologically sound with a lot of things with this. I'm more of the out in the world kind of guy. If something breaks out there, I can fix it.
Yeah.
Something to do with the computer, I just start drawing blanks. And she set it up and she started laughing. She was like, "Well," and I told her, I got to come up with a name for this PC, setting up the network and everything. And she said D&L Gaming. And we ran with it all the way up until I changed it. What was that, last month, I think?
Yeah, when you changed your name, I was speaking to you as if we just met a bunch of times. Like, "Hey, this guy seems cool." Like, and I'm watching your stream. I'm like, I know him from somewhere, and it took me a little bit to like pick up on that. So I thought it was kind of cool. And what did DILF stand for? You don't have to answer. You don't have to answer. I think I know.
I'd have to have her answer that.
Amanda Lou, you're in the chat if you want to let me know.
Oh God.
Yeah, there's someone in the Jynk. Could you take a moment to catch us up on the chat?
I was looking here, and it's mostly just like a few people coming in. Real one came in for a first time chat. How's it going? Dingy's still lurking around here. I mean, he's not even like on duty tonight. He's just hanging out like a loser.
He was my boy.
So it's not just you, I roast. And then Madman Joe asked if you're a veteran slanger, and I said you are, and he said he figured so because based on your username. And Amanda Lou apologized for the DILF name, and then Madman said that he was surprised you even had that because he figured that would have been taken.
It was. I actually had to add some numbers. Yeah.
So it was taken.
It was taken.
Awesome. So thanks for that,
Well,
Jynk. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, yeah, I mean that makes sense because I was like, oh, if you got Delph Gaming, like you should have kept that one, like, or at least like, hey, I'll give I'll give up this name and you can have it for like X amount of money.
Yeah.
That's right. Buy it from me.
So when you and I were talking a little bit ahead of time, you emphasized that you want to build a drama-free community. Why is that so important to you?
I've lived the crazy parts of lives. I've known a lot of crazy people, and I see things like what's going on with Doctor Disrespect and stuff like that. As a person, I just don't like drama. I'm ready to be laid back. I'm ready to be relaxed. I know that's out of reach kind of goal for anybody. But as far as here in a career, I'm looking to really bump heads with people or really make my viewers a community based off of some bull crap with somebody else in their life or what may happen in mine.
I respect that. I agree with you 100%. I believe in bullshit-free existence in life. If you have it, that's fine, and it's yours. But let's leave it in your arena and leave it out of mine.
That's right.
Right? So
Like-
knowing that you've only been streaming for a couple of years, and you've actually only been full-time since I believe August.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any community growth goals or goals for yourself as a streamer and a content creator that are within the next 3 to 6 months for yourself?
Yeah, currently, my next goal to achieve for me and community wise is to build my YouTube and reach monetization there. I've got a pretty good following on Twitch, and I appreciate everyone. If any of my people are in the chat, I appreciate y'all for being here and for being part of my life here on Twitch. YouTube, though, I set it off on the back shelf for a little while. So now I'm trying to play catch up with long form content, things like that. Get those followers up there as well. My watch hours up there.
As I'm in the exact same boat. I went Twitch, TikTok, and now I'm working on my YouTube channel, and I find YouTube incredibly hard to break the ice.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
Right? Like it took me 2 years to get to 50 followers, and that was like I think I have like 100 videos now, and yeah, I've tried it all. It's really hard, but I find like finally now I'm actually starting to get a little bit of momentum. Like the snowball's starting to form and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And I think meeting people like yourself and some of the previous guests that we have, meeting new people that are great people, good streamers that are community minded, is how it's starting to go. Because now we're all kind of like showing the love, supporting each other, building networking, and you're starting to create a mountain out of sand, kind of thing like that, where people believe that you're just gonna like, okay, day 7, I'm gonna start my castle. Day 12, I'm gonna be putting the rainbows up and stuff like that. Where it doesn't work like that. It's one grain of sand at a time, uphill.
That's exactly right. I found shorts. Some of my best traffic has come from my shorts.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I agree with that. Before you went
Oh,
go ahead.
hey, let me interject real
Yeah,
quick.
100%.
Sorry, not to interrupt, but Dingy was like, "Oh, not sharing chat," and I'm like, "Well, I'm not streaming." But then he's like, "Oh, I thought the Freedom Slanger was streaming. If you're streaming Freedom Slanger, then I don't know how to do the whole thing with like y'all getting it where it's the shared chat."
I'm currently. What's up, Dingy? I'm currently not live. I've got a 2 PC system set up here, and the PC that I have that actually streams to Twitch for me, I've got shut off at the moment. I don't have. I use NDI rather than a capture card, so I've got the NDI broken between the two of them to just while I'm working on recordings and things like that. So I think Mr. Luca here is going to be the only live one. I will be posting the VOD though.
Awesome. Well, we look forward to checking it out.
I streamed earlier, so
Perfect. So before you went full time, what was the biggest thing that you thought streaming would be that it's turned out to be different?
Relaxed.
Okay.
I gotta say relaxed, because you think about it. I'm sitting at home, I'm playing video games all day. I'm in my house, I'm moving at my schedule, which my schedule's crazy anyway. I've always got to be doing something. But that's actually very far from the truth.
fair. I believe that to be successful, you have to have a little bit of chaos in your life, organized chaos, but chaos nonetheless. I got home an hour and a half before the podcast, ate, spent time with my kids, got my chores ready. We set up in that, and now we're live, and I'm gonna edit videos after this. So, and then 5:30 a.m. rolls real early some days. So I feel ya.
Oh yeah, that's pretty
I haven't
similar.
even
I
slept
was.
yet, so
Oh man, you're the real winner here.
Oh yeah,
Handle it like a
yeah.
boss.
I stream before the podcast. I might stream after the podcast. I don't know.
very
Depending on how
nice.
I feel.
So, outside of streaming and the family, because you mentioned that you have kids and a nephew and stuff like that, when you're not streaming, do you have any hobbies or anything you like to do to unwind or anything like that?
I'm big into powerlifting and working out. I'm not a meathead by any means, but that is definitely integrated into each of my days, especially streaming. You want to stay active, keep your health in check. Hanging out, of course, with Miss Amanda Lou. We have our little games on our phones that we're both just wildly addicted to. If I'm playing this game, I got to make her play it with me, then we compare each other.
Very nice.
Binge watching some TV shows. We just finished Resident Alien. We're on our search for our next series right now. Vehicles. My son and myself both, we have some pretty larger vehicles. And I have a custom motorcycle that I work on in my spare time.
What kind?
I have a bobber. It is started out as a 2003 Yamaha, I want to say Roadstar, but completely changed over. I mean, tank, frame, everything's different now. And on top of that, anything outdoors, of course, being, from here in North Carolina, I hunt, I fish, garden, anything that keeps me outside moving.
Awesome. On the motorcycle note, that is my next goal in life, is to get a motorcycle. I got my license last year, and I was given an ultimatum from the wife. I could sell my boat, buy a motorcycle tomorrow, or I have to wait till our primary vehicle's paid off, and then I could buy a motorcycle after that's paid off, just because we don't want two payments, right?
Yeah, of course.
And I'm sitting here juggling the thoughts between the two every day, just because I really want a bike.
Oh man, I gotta say, I have both now. Now my boat is very minimal. Now I've got a 14-foot V-hole out there. Is all I've got.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, flat hole, and I just run it with a trolling motor. And if I would have had to give that up, I'd be upset. If I had to give up my bike, I'd be upset. So I mean, they're both a really hard decision if you've got to weigh which one to have.
Right now, I'm leaning towards just patience, and
That's
I can have
right.
both.
That's right.
So, what games are you currently enjoying the most, and why?
My current enjoyment right now is Sons of the Forest.
Ooh,
Yeah.
how you liking
That's a
it?
good game.
I love it. I've actually beaten it a couple times already. Right now, I'm playing on the peaceful setting. Now, this is off VOD, off stream. This is just my sit down and enjoy game. Because I like the survival aspect, building the fort. I probably, Sundays are relaxed day here at the house. And I guarantee you, I played for 9 hours. And for that entire 9 hours, I was hunting and building the fort. And that was it.
That is amazing. Jynk actually is the person that told me about Sons of the Forest. I looked into it, and then Dingy and I have been trying to find time to work that game into our schedule so we could play it, say, once a week for a couple of months. Because it just looks like a fantastic game. Say that again, Jynk?
It is a blast.
Isn't that game is so dumb? Like,
Yeah.
not that the game itself is dumb, but just like you just get to be idiots in it.
Yeah.
So, Jynk, do you want to spend a couple minutes, get us caught up in chat, and then we'll move into segment 2?
Sure. Okay, that was the whole thing about the streaming. And then Dingy called you a bobber, and then he said, he's being just whiny over there about that he thinks he's lost his ability to have a motorcycle, and he said, you'll ride again, and Joe assured him that they do make bikes for the handicapped. And then he says you can get an automatic bike as well, probably a bit more expensive. I mean, that is true. I've seen those. Like my dad thought about getting one of those for my mom actually, because he had a bike for a while, and he actually went to Sturgis, I think, a couple of times. And one of the times that the way that he told me he went to Sturgis was that he just sent me like a picture with no context to my phone of Mount Rushmore.
Wow.
That's how I found out he was on his way to Sturgis.
Well, if your ankle can't shift, you can put a suicide shift on.
Yeah. Why do they call it a suicide shift?
Oh, it's terrifying to use. I'll say that.
I knew the answer to the question before I asked it. I just thought it was hilarious to sewer Dingy a little bit, right?
I mean, Dingy spends so much time roasting you, Looker, and the moment we get a chance to, like, and he really cannot answer you back. Not easily, anyway.
That's fair. So,
a trike would help as well, and Joe says.
Yeah. We're gonna move into the next segment, and none of these questions you have to answer. If you're comfortable with answering them, that's fine. If not, that's totally cool. I respect that. So just to kind of get into like the financial side of this, were you able to use streaming to be financially stable, or do you have your other means in life that allow you to have that, and then this is something you're meaning to become financially stable in the future?
Fortunately, I do have other means. While I am monetized, you and any other streamer knows I'm early in the monetization, so it's kind of a hard push to really expect to be stable just based like solely off Twitch.
Yeah.
I was very lucky to have the support system that I have and to have the avenues open. And really, myself, I'm lucky that I'm basically debt free. Everything I own.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps out a lot with that being the situation there. But no. Streaming currently is I wouldn't be able to rely on that to live off of. No.
That's fair. Do you think someone coming into streaming with hypothetically in a similar structure of your streaming setup, been streaming for a couple of years, they're planning on getting into it, do you think it'd be a good financial decision for them to kind of like drop their job and get into it, or do you think they should kind of put in their checks and balances before taking that leap?
Definitely have your checks and balances done first. I myself, unless they're going to grind and absolutely push 24 hours a day, I don't see, if they have their own home, they have their own vehicle, kids, things like that, they wouldn't be able to take care of their responsibilities where I am at the moment in streaming.
Yeah.
So they would definitely need to prepare for it.
100%. I know you and I have been streaming for a similar amount of time, and I'm nowhere near being able to provide for my family the lifestyle that we're used to and do this full time. So on top of a 10-hour workday minimum, then I come and do this because, hey, maybe I will get to a point where I could, but even the way I see it, even if I get halfway there, I'm way better off than if I just sat on the couch and ate potato chips, right?
That's right.
So, what's your thoughts on that, Jynk?
Well, I know you and I have had this conversation quite a bit about how a lot of people seem to think that the moment they hit that live button for the first time, they're going to become like famous overnight and be making a ton of money and be, rich. But honestly, like there's only a very small percentage of people that actually are able to make a comfortable enough living off of this, and even a smaller percentage of that percentage that can be famous and be making a lot of money off of it. I mean, I know like 4 people that are partnered, and out of those 4 people, 3 of them have day jobs, and one of them was full-time streaming and pulled back on that to get a day job. I think his wife still is a full-time streamer, but she might have gotten a day job too now. So,
Sure.
it's you got to do what you got to do to make the ends meet. Like,
Go
I
ahead.
take it back. Like, you know, one of the people I know, like Haka, she was working and then like she finally got to where she was comfortable enough after she got laid off. She made the decision to like go full-time streaming, but she's doing well enough that she's comfortable with that decision. And I guess maybe because she lives in Australia, maybe the housing situation's different than it is here. I don't know. But
So, so
yeah, I don't think that the goal is to think of this as a career. I think it's a hobby that makes you some money sometimes.
I think we could all agree with that. I do think that, like, I talk to a lot of younger streamers, people that are not as aged as I am, and they're like, "Oh man, this is what I'm gonna do for
Mhm.
work. This is how I'm gonna support my future family and stuff like that." And I was like, "Hey man, like, set very realistic goals of what you're doing here." And this is why I thought someone like Freedom would be able to give a really good perspective, as he's a man walking a mile in the shoes that people dream of, and he's not paid. Oh, it's rainbows and butterflies here. He's like, man, I got structure, I got a routine, I got to work hard. It's an uphill climb,
Yeah,
and
but to be fair, he's also not, a 19-year-old kid.
True.
for sure. But
Unfortunately.
to help those 19-year-old kids see the perspective of someone that's actually doing it, right? We learn from the examples that are presented to us. So this is a great example for
Right.
us to take wisdom of someone that's doing it and pass it to someone who wants to do it, if that makes sense.
hmm So, I mean, like, I'm not doing it full time, but I would say that, I mean, I feel like I'm similar age group as you guys. And my perspective is like I'm looking at from a very realistic point of view that this is I don't think unless I mean I don't have the personality to make millions of dollars off of this, but I'm looking at like the more realistic view of this is a hobby that makes you some money sometimes, and
Yeah,
maybe you'll get to a point where you can be off of it comfortably, but 99% of the people don't.
agreed.
So,
So to kind of carry on with the conversation, Freedom, we both know that mental health is a big topic in the content creation world. How much pressure is there to always be online and entertaining for you?
That there actually is a pretty good amount of pressure for that. To put out the next video, the next episode. If you follow my YouTube, I put out episodes. The next live, which I've actually taken a break from the lives while I focus on the episodes. It's kind of hard to juggle those two. Um, you definitely feel pressure day in and day out. So, like my best clip is sitting at roughly 60,000 views, I think.
Woo!
So to replicate that, that's what you're chasing.
Yeah,
So there's definitely your feelings of failure. There's your anxiety. Like, oh man, this isn't doing as good. Maybe I just got lucky this once. Uh, it will take a toll on your mental health. I can't stress enough to someone younger and not quite as experienced in life that would be getting into this. You've got to take your time. You've got to walk away from the computer. Go get some sunshine. Don't look at the numbers. Cut the numbers off. I'm
mhm.
still bad about it. I'll pull up YouTube 16 times a day, hit the refresh button, see where the views are sitting. If they climbed, if they not moved, just kind of judging that content. Do I want to continue with that? I've recently learned to enter into the mindset that even if it doesn't do great, I enjoyed making it. I'm gonna finish out that series, and one day, it might be 5 years from now, it might be next week. I'm gonna hit a group of people that's gonna love that content, and that's gonna blow up. But by then, I'm gonna be on to my next project.
See, and that was going to be my question for you, Slinger, was like if you keep the numbers on while you're streaming or if you turn them off. Like I
I
have
cut
my
them off.
numbers on, but I don't look at them.
and I
So,
live by the numbers. I watch the numbers constantly. I literally have a monitor dedicated to my algorithms, all my stats, all everything. Um, that is how my brain works, though. Like I think I'm an exception from the rule, because if I'm like when I started streaming, I streamed to one person for probably a year. It didn't bother me one bit, but then it's too like, okay, what did I do? Like I always measure, okay, when there's that success, what did I do to earn that success? Whether it's one more view or it's 5 more likes or whatever it might be, to try to study it and then do that again, replicate it, right?
That's right. I cut my numbers off while I stream. If I'm live, and I mean, you'll see me. I go through phases while I'm live streaming. I'm quiet, or I'm joking, and I'm laughing. I'm steady talking, then I'm quiet again. A lot of that has to do with the game I'm playing. You'll see 90% of the time if I'm live streaming, I'm playing Tarkov, a very involved game. So I'm listening, I'm watching, and I'm kind of just focusing on what I'm doing. I may, in that time, I have say 9 viewers, and I'll lose 7 of them because I'm not speaking. But at the same time, I have to, remind myself, if that is the case, then those 7 viewers didn't fully understand the game. They may pop back in later while I'm being entertaining and I'm not in the raid, and I got these 3 guys over here trying to cut me in half. uh, uh, the numbers as far as live goes, I never really pay attention to. I always circle back to the VODs or recordings, see how I'm doing there, and I base my content off of that.
So after the
It's
fact,
interesting. I honestly never thought about looking at the VODs for like numbers on how you're doing as a metric.
I like to add those two in because you got to think, I'm streaming at this time. And a lot of people I know, or a lot of people that watch people like us, they want to kick back at the end of the night, or while they're eating dinner, or while they're going to bed, and then they're watching us play. And we've already ended our stuff in today, so they're just watching our VODs. Like that's how I did with streamers. I rarely did I watch anybody while they were live, but at the end of the day, I'd watch say Lupo or Disrespect, and that's kind of how I base mine.
The games that I normally play are visual novels, so a lot of my streams are just me reading a story out loud, like an audiobook. So I guess a lot of people come back to my streams when they're like maybe making dinner or getting ready for the night, and they just turn it on and listen to me speaking as something to listen to. So maybe that's where some of my viewership is. They're not watching me live, but they come back later and watch the VOD and just listen to the story.
yeah. So
I also have a Peanut Butter Gaming. Says Twitch views are shocking lately. You can have 10 people in, for example, but it gives you 6 viewers who are in. I also agree with Twitch being a hobby for some. I don't know if you agree with the live view thing. With the live view thing, you can't count on live views. The only views that really matter for a stream are when you end the stream and you get the stream summary at the end of it. Because live views dynamic and they will fluctuate faster than the algorithm can really keep up.
yeah, what I have seen, like I know a guy, his name's Pootie Tang. I've literally seen his chat blowing up, and I could count 10, 15 people in there, like actively chatting. His counter says there's 4 people in there, and then if you click on the 3 little guys that are on your stream, right, like we can see how many people in there. There's like 45 in there, and just people are lurking. So I think there's a problem with Twitch's algorithm where they track the way people are shown. Because I know at the end of the stream, I feel like it's pretty accurate, but sometimes when it's live, either it's lagged, it's altered, or something like that. Because I know a lot of streamers that seem to make that claim.
Well, I think it's altered, and I think a lot of people don't understand how the thing works. Like you're looking at a live view of it, and that's like imagine if you're on a street corner watching like a musician performing, like busking on the street corner, and you'll have people like crowded around him, but people will come and go, and that's kind of what your Twitch stream is. And you may have 10 people on average standing there, but you've got maybe 12 people standing there at one time, or you've got 14 people standing there, or maybe 8 people standing there, and they're coming and going, and you could be standing there trying to count heads while a person's coming and going, and you can't count them accurately until like you go back and review, I guess, like if you were recording it. So think of it that way, like Twitch stream is a street corner, and it's doing its best to catch up with the dynamic change of viewership, but it's not going to be nearly as accurate because people are going to come and go faster than the program is going to be able to count heads. So really I mean, you can get it as a gauge. Like right now I see like 20 people watching you at this moment. Looker, is that accurate? Who knows?
Yeah.
I mean, you'll know at the end of your stream if it's an accurate count or not, because it could go down to 2 in just a minute, or it could go up to like 40 in a minute. There's no way of knowing because the system can't count that fast. So,
Yeah.
I mean, I just
What
like that's some of the background I have from like when I worked for social media.
what I can add is, as I was making my hard push for affiliate, I
Mhm.
research everything I do, man. I've got to know the ins and outs of anything I'm taking part in, and I learned, and I don't know if it's still the case, but you could have, let's say, all right, we're sitting at 20 right now. We might have another 15 extra that's not being counted, but they're not being counted because for some reason for Twitch, they're active in chat. If they're active in chat, it doesn't count them towards live viewers.
Yeah, there is the mix of those kind of like things all together, right? I think when people focus on like, hey, 20, 20, 20 goes to 19, ooh, 19, that's where people get hung up on those things, right?
Mhm.
For me, it's the average. Like, I'm level enough to be like, okay, I got 6 people in here. I'm happy with it. I know it might be more. I know it might be less because Jink's 100% right with counting heads on the street corner. Uh, but some people, that's too much for them, right? Because we all have our
Mhm.
different level that we could take of the fluctuation of emotion with the highs and lows of streaming. Because I've had highs and I've
Yeah.
had lows of streaming. I'm sure we could all relate with that.
Yeah.
So
I
just
also think that it counts people when they're watching through the browser um differently than it counts them when they're watching it through a phone app.
yeah,
Yes.
So that could also be part of in the whole fluctuation of it too. So I mean, I don't know. I don't work for Twitch, so I don't know how their algorithm or their program counts when it's showing live viewership. I just know that it is a very dynamic number and it doesn't keep up with the fluctuation as well as it could. But there's nothing they're going to be able to do about that because that information moves faster than they can keep up with it,
yeah,
unfortunately.
yeah, that checks. So to move forward,
Mhm.
Freedom, have you ever hit a point where you've questioned whether you streaming full time was the right choice for you?
A couple times, honestly, yes. And it was through my support system that kept me pushing. Like talking to Miss Amanda there, and just venting to her, and she's like, "No, you." She's able to bring that outside view in,
Yeah,
and which I highly suggest anyone that's going to get wrapped up into that, make sure they have that support system. Because when you get in your head, when you hit those lows, like you mentioned, you're not looking at the things you've done. You're looking at the things you didn't get done.
yeah,
And she has the skill to where she'll go, all right, you aren't getting this right now. That's fine, but you've done this, this, and this, and you're still doing better than you're telling yourself you
yeah,
are. It's definitely a hard play. You have to be mentally strong to really deal with those highs and lows because a lot of times you do feel you'll get off at the end of the day, or let's say I have one day a week where I'll go through all my stuff, look, see how I did for the weeks, check my overview, and I'm like, man, this just isn't for me. This, I don't have the personality, or I can't compete with the bigger guys. And she's like, no, okay, you didn't get this, but you did get this. So
yeah,
she really keeps me pushing.
yeah.
It sounds like all the stuff I deal with most of the time. Like I always tell Looker, I'm like, I just have that dead inside personality because I'm very laconic when I speak, even naturally. But I also like I feel like I'm realistic. Like there's no way I'm going to compete with some of the bigger, stars. I mean, one, I play boring games. They entertain me, but I feel like a lot of other people watch them. But I also like I don't think I'm ever going to compete with anybody. I think I'm good with what I've got. But yeah, I mean, your goals are pretty great. Like I think that's a lofty way to look at it. Like, oh, I don't think I can do that, but then, taking the wins where you get them.
Yeah, that's right.
Knowing that and feeling the pressure of you're focusing on the lows and not the highs and stuff like that. Me personally, I would consider that signs of fatigue and burnout in the content creation world. So I'm assuming you could relate with that a little bit. Do you have strategies that work for you aside from your support system? Because you've already mentioned that part, which I think is huge. Do you have any other strategies that have worked for you or advice you'd give to young people for creator burnout?
Um, Take a break. It might be a day, it might be a week, but get back to the basics. Or even if you have to walk away from your computer, console, whatever you stream off of, walk away from it if that's what works for you. For me, it's I shut the camera off. I move. Well, I don't really move the mic because we need that there streaming or not. But I'll cut the stream computer off completely. I'll kill OBS and I'll play with my sons or I'll play with my nephew or I'll aggravate Amanda till she gets on and plays a game with me and I'll just play for fun. And just take all of it out. Remember why you're there. You're not there. We're not here to make money. Yes, that's the goal. That is a goal. We want a payoff for sitting here and entertaining the masses and playing our games and putting ourselves out there. But at the end of the day, it comes back to, I mean, this game's kind of fun. I want to play it. When you start putting the pressure of trying to make progress, in this hobby or career, however you like to look at it, it takes away all the fun. You have to remind yourself of why you got into it.
I agree with that, like, wholeheartedly. Like, I mean, it's like, for me, I stream a game because I'm going to be playing it anyways. I might as well turn it on and see if anyone likes the game, and maybe they might be interested in getting it for themselves. But it's so hard for me to like be entertaining sometimes because I can see the chat and then answering them and just being on, I guess, sometimes is difficult for me. Like, I'm enjoying the game, but I may not always be like enjoying the social aspect of the stream.
So,
I just fake it till I make it, though.
hey, I just want to give a quick thank you to Amanda Lou for the sub. I really appreciate that. You're too kind. And thanks for the follow. The next question I have, time commitment, is another major factor that a lot of streamers run into, and I know that's my biggest constraint in life, is that I only have so many hours in a day, and I can only sacrifice so much sleep and still be successful at life. How many hours a week do you actually spend working on content? Not just streaming, but all of it together. Making, producing, and streaming content per week, would you say?
I want to say anywhere in the upwards of 40 to 50 hours easily.
So it's a
And that's
full-time job.
probably low. Yeah. So, and if you look at my YouTube, you'll see I'll have an hour-long video. I played that game to get that hour video probably for 2 hours. And then I spent another 4, 5, 6 hours editing. It just goes and goes and goes.
I do all of our editing on 90% of our content, so I feel you on that. I've had many nights of taking 4 hours worth of content and dropping it down to 2, but it takes me 6 hours to make 2, plus the 4 that I like, holy smokes, then you're all red-eyed, oh, okay, time for bed. So I really feel that. Which also leads me, I think you answered it, but it leads me to what parts of content creation do you feel take up the most amount of time that people just don't realize?
Editing, for sure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, on a good video, I'm telling you, I'm sitting there for 6 hours. I've got 3 different programs up. I'm running through CapCut. I'm looking at templates. I'm looking at transitions. And what they don't realize is that a lot of people probably don't realize, but they say, all right, they edited it and they posted it. No, I edit it, then I watch it again, start to finish, make sure I didn't miss anything. And granted, by then, your mind's just shut off. Your brain's not working. You're dazing out. You're playing on your phone. I'll have Amanda come in like, all right, now it's your turn. You got to watch it. Tell me what I missed. Then that's the final green light. That's when it's, all right, time to post.
Yeah. See,
Mm-hmm.
I have a very bad habit of do all my editing, I watch everything, but I'll listen more than watch because like there's nothing I can do about my camera being messed up at this stage of the game, right? But I like to listen to them. Like I literally take my VODs, I upload them on my phone before I like post them onto Spotify or Amazon. I literally like to listen to them like a podcast before they become a podcast, and partially for I'm trying to learn how to take my ums out and articulate and wait my turn to speak because I'm a very anxious speaker. See, that was another That way, when I'm actually doing my editing, I could focus more on the conversation of things instead of watching for mistakes, right? Because if there's a lot of mistakes, you just can't. They're audio control that just happen because things are live. But then with audio gaffes and stuff like that, like me being like muted for the first minute of the stream, now I have to edit that part out, put everything back together seamlessly, hopefully. I actually enjoy editing. I find it's a very big stress relief when I'm not on the time constraint of it. Like, yeah, so I do agree that's probably the hardest part of it. Um,
Oh,
do,
see, I just cut all that out by not editing.
Fair, fair. My goal with the podcast is to be of a professional grade. I want to bring people on and highlight their stories and highlight other streamers and different types of content creators, in a good light to help people that are just regular like myself get their story out there. Because I honestly think if you meet Freedom and actually like, hey man, this guy's a cool dude. I like his mojo. I'm gonna go check out his stream. That helps him
Hmm.
personally. And then it also helps me by having someone be like, hey, I was watching the look of his stream or his podcast and I met this cool guy. I'm cool by association because I know you guys, right? So,
Oh, that's
Guaranteed.
how I feel all the time. I'm like, I'm just cool by association.
what parts of no do you feel like this do you feel like you have enough personal time, or do you think content creation is taking up too much of your, like, do you think content creation is all consuming for you?
There's definitely a fine line where I do have to remind myself I need to take some family time or some downtime, or Amanda will go, "You need to get out of the house. Spend a day out and about, go see some places." It. I try to take. I try to take one full day a week, start to finish, with morning to night, where I spend time with the family. We're watching movies, going out places, or playing games of some sort. Uh, and if as a full-time content creator, that is really almost all I can dedicate to them, unfortunately. And as bad as that sounds, but my kids are all at the ages where they're not going to spend time with dad anyway. They're often doing their own thing. They're in their bedroom, they won't come out. Got to pop in there. What are you doing? Nothing. Like, well, you can go back to doing it then. Uh, it's it's definitely, it can be a struggle if you're pushing out on the schedule like you do or like I do. Uh, I can't speak for Jynk to Puss here. I'm not saying I don't support everyone else in our community. It's just I have my head in what I've got going on, and I'm notorious about. I'm finished with that editing. I've hit the post button. I walk all the way away from the computer, and I don't think about it again until the next day. Um,
Hmm.
it definitely takes a lot of your time focusing on your your videos you're putting out, your lives you're planning for, uh, getting the things done in the lives. Promoting is probably my most hated part of it. Besides editing, is promoting. I can't stand to promote myself. I'm actually a quiet guy by nature. And to get out, and you can probably tell through my posts, I'm like, hey man, come check. I sound like a salesman. And just check this out, and then you'll see my next post where you can tell I'm just like, hey, here's a video. Watch this. Here, tell me if you like it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
time
I
though, time constraints is a hard one.
mm, I don't do editing, like I said, because mostly I mean, I don't have a YouTube channel for. I have a YouTube. It's my personal one, so I keep waffling if I want to like make one for the stream or not. But I do have Instagram and I do have X, and I only really post clips to those. So I guess my editing is really just doing clips after my stream, and that's sort of my unwind to go back and listen through the stream and then find the funny stuff or what I think might make a good clip. And then once that's done, I go watch somebody else's stream for a bit or go watch videos on YouTube and then I go to bed. Or
Fair.
I don't sleep like I did today.
So, Jink, would you be okay with kind of scrolling back a little bit, looking for where we last
Yeah.
dropped the conversations? I'm gonna ask one more question, and then you could catch us up on the chat, and then we'll move into streaming to dream, okay? So,
Sure.
Freedom, uh, if you were to give advice to someone that's gonna be a full-time streamer, how many hours per week would you say that they should be focusing on their craft, or whether it's editing, content creation, marketing, the whole kind of package deal that you think they should do if they are hoping to be successful? How many hours would you say?
Everyone's different. They all have their different skill sets. I'm going to say as many as it takes. If I had to put a number on it, I'd say treat it like a job and run, push 40. That's just because that's the number we're all comfortable with when we think about work.
Yeah.
And when I say 40, I mean that's playing the game itself. And like we've mentioned before, that's the editing, the figuring out titles. My God, that takes some time. Just staring at the video, like what's going to catch somebody's eye,
Oh yeah.
You've really got to dial in and put your time in. Because if you try, you're going to cut corners. You're not going to spend that much time. You're just throwing some names out or some numbers out, some videos out. They're going to notice your traffic's going to die down. They're wanting people that really put the effort into these videos to sit, because obviously it's like a TV show. You want to be entertained, right? So you want someone that took the time to try to entertain you, and it takes time for that. I'm going to throw that minimum, with the exception of people that just have it naturally, at 40.
Yeah. See, although I think 40 is the minimum, I don't remember a work day for me being longer than 60. I work week shorter than 60 for me personally. I've worked construction. I'm a blue collar guy. A 60-hour work week is kind of like the normal. When I get off work at 3:30, like that's 8.5 hours for me. I get home at 3:30. I'm like, man, I got so much time for activities now. Like, what am I gonna do with myself?
It was when I was out in the blue collar world myself. I'd get home early on the day, 3:30, 4 o'clock. You do feel that sense. Hey man, I'm free. What can I do? And then you end up just sitting on the couch not doing anything because you're tired.
Yeah. Jynk, you're
like that.
ready to go?
So, well, you want me to do the chat?
Yeah, do the chat, and then at the end of the chat, we'll go into the streamer to dream it.
So I was gonna say, let's go ahead and thank Yeehaw Hot Away, 2007, and also this Strelly LOL for following, and then it's mostly just like me making fun of Dingy again, most of it.
Very
Honestly,
nice.
I think he did something to your stream elements.
He did.
And then they're Peanut Butter was talking about it. I guess back when y'all were talking about walking away from the editing, that it's called touching grass. Which is funny. Like Minnie has that whole thing where you make him go out and touch grass for channel points.
Yeah.
And then let's see here. Oh, hang on. Your ad is running and it's like squished all the chat down here at the very bottom where I can't see anything.
Well, no worries. We'll just take her. Yeah. Okay. Would you like me to continue on then, or?
No, I got it. So they're asking about. I think that was really all the ones. Drop these guys a follow. Check them out. And then Dingy shouted freedom out again.
Thank you.
And that looks about like, I think that's about caught up on it.
If I could just step in for a moment, Mr. Yeehaw Hardaway being, that is my oldest son, who you see in a lot of my clips as well.
Very nice. Thank you for being here.
Okay. Yeah, sorry if I mispronounce his username.
Oh, no, you got it right. Yeah,
bad at jumbled letters.
Okay, so now, as a D&L Gaming tradition, this is our first time having someone aside from myself or Dingy do the streamer to dream it. So Jynk, just bear with me for 10 seconds, and you have the floor.
Can I help you?
Let me pull this up here where I can see it. Okay, so I'm going to talk about this game that I tried the demo for recently called Rue Valley. It doesn't have a release date yet, but you can go get the demo off Steam. Eugene Harrow is the main character who is staying in a motel in the middle of nowhere, surrounded by desert. He was brought there by his therapist to help him disconnect and rediscover himself, but he soon discovers he is caught in a Groundhog Day-like time loop. The art for the game is beautiful and the animations are well done. The soundtrack does a good job of setting the tone and pace for each scene. The voice acting is pretty decent, but some of it will most likely be replaced before full release. The NPCs each have their own charm and their own stories to discover. Eugene himself also has a story to uncover, and the player will spend much of their time exploring his different thoughts, emotions, and memories to unravel the mystery of the time loop that Eugene has found himself in. This story also has different branches depending on the traits taken at the start of the game and how the player reacts to different situations with Eugene. This lends to the possibility of different outcomes for this ending, as well as I think it also leads to an element of replayability with the game. It is mostly sort of a visual novel, but there are some elements of an RPG aspect to it as well, with the different stats, rolling dice to see the outcomes for it for different situations.
Awesome. So that leads me to the classic D&L saying, would you stream it or would you dream it?
Oh, overall, I actually found the demo for the game to be pretty enjoyable and easy to play through. So I imagine the game itself will also be similar. It had the right amount of hooks to leave me really wanting more, and it runs well on systems that not might not be the most up to date for it. I definitely will be looking forward to the full game on release, and will probably look towards streaming it as well when it comes out because I really kind of identified with the character of Eugene, and I really want to see like more of his story and if he's able to escape the time loop of Rue Valley. So
Awesome.
yes, I would definitely be streaming it. I'm gonna also start a poll here. If I can get this up here to get a poll from the audience.
Perfect. So, segment 3 is work life balance and sustainability. Balancing full time content creation with real life can be tough. How do you set boundaries between work and personal life? Freedom?
I have my kill time, unless I'm absolutely pushing. I have my kill time every day. And dinner. Dinner, I want to say now I do get a little out of bounds on this one sometimes, but dinner must be done as a family. Uh, Unwind time must be done as a family. Like I'm not going to be in the office all the way till it's time to go to bed. I want to go out. I want to hear about their days. I want to eat dinner with them. Uh, but you have to have that structure like you would a normal work at home job, and have that time at the end of the day where like yeah, I'm done. Plus, I mean, we all know they don't make the best gaming chairs in the world. Your ass is gonna hurt at the end of the night. You're like, I'm gonna go sit in that big recliner now. And I think we're rocking the same chair,
Oh, yeah,
brother.
I noticed that.
Uh, yeah,
I can honestly say I don't have a gaming chair.
Count your blessings.
yes, please do.
I don't even
Uh,
I've always heard that they aren't really like as good as people like hype them up to be. I mean, I just have like a cheap ass office chair I got off of Amazon for like $30.
it's probably more comfortable than what we got. I'm gonna be honest with you.
Yeah.
It's probably more ergonomic too.
Perfect. So has full-time streaming impacted your family or personal relationships at all? Or were the boundaries that you set in place set to prevent that from happening?
Those were set to prevent. Now, I wouldn't say there hasn't been any really real effects at all. No. Hey, you have your bad days. Anybody has their bad days. Man, to come home, I'll be ill. I'll be just venting to her. She's got a real quick way, like anyone's other half. She shuts me up real quick. Like, all right, look, we're gonna move on with our day now. You've said what you've had to say. You've been cranky now. Just let it go, and we're gonna move on. That's about as far as the effects have taken. Uh, Negatively. I've had a few positive effects. My kids absolutely love to brag about me in school. I've had their friends, their teachers pop in on streams while they were in school. Apparently, my middle child, my youngest son. Apparently, I'm a legend in his class because I stream.
That's cool.
But that's really as far as it goes. But because I have that structure and those boundaries, I don't. I've always been big on don't let personal bleed into professional or vice versa. So I think that's kind of helped me to keep the two separate.
Perfect.
That's
I'm
probably a good way to go about it.
yeah, I'm the
I
exact.
mean,
Go
that's,
ahead, Jynk.
the I was gonna say that's the whole reason why I have an avatar, like, so, and it's something that, Slanger and I actually kind of talked about a little bit before the stream. Like, I keep my private life and online life very separate. Um, is I mean, it's not that I don't like you guys. I just don't like need, people. I don't need all of this bleeding into my real life.
I
It
think
also
that's
looks like the
important.
stream it won for Rue Valley.
Awesome. And see, I'm kind of the same but exact opposite because I do have a full-time job. I'm up at 5:30 to go to work in the morning. So I get off a little bit earlier most days. Today was not one of those days because sometimes the job just has to get done.
Yeah.
So my rule, aside from Monday, because I specifically asked the wife for permission. We sat down, we talked about it on Mondays because Dingy is 2 hours ahead of me. 8:30 his time is 10:30, and he also gets up at the same time as me in the morning. So we'll compromise, we'll bump it sooner. So I sat down with the wife, hey, could we have 1 day a week where I'm allowed to start earlier? Aside from that 1 day today, I don't stream until after my kids go to bed. They go to bed at 8 p.m. I start streaming at 8:30, sometimes 8:45 for the same reason, but exact opposite, right? I'm very good at my work in home. I don't bring work home. I don't bring home to work. Streaming it, my kids gaming setups are right beside me. So they, hey dad, let's go downstairs, and they encourage bad behavior sometimes. But then I'm gaming with the kids. Is it really such a bad thing, right?
Yeah, that's my approach to it. Hey, look, we're spending time. We might be there might be a screen between us, but we're spending time together.
Yeah. So with sustainability and
Mhm.
longevity and content creation are such crucial factors of it, how do you keep things fresh and avert long-term creation burnout? Not personal burnout, but burnout of like coming up with new fresh ideas, or have you not had to cross that road yet?
I've definitely crossed that road. How I stay fresh is, and before I say this, I have to stress: don't copy another creator. They're making their path, you're making yours. You don't want to piggyback. What I'll do if I'm drawing blanks, or if I'm like I don't know how to engage, or I don't know where to go from here, I'll watch 3 or 4 different people. Right now, I'm actually on Outer Middle, and I'm gonna be real honest. If anybody has ever watched the Outer Middle show, I watched it legitimately because I thought it was Looker. And and if anyone in chat, we see Looker right now. Chat, pull up Outer Middle, put that guy's picture next to Looker. I really thought I was watching my buddy play games on TV. But back to the question.
He's probably a handsome guy for the record.
Oh man, it just makes my heart skip beats every time. uh, I don't copy them. Now I'll see what they're doing that's working, and then I'll go to the next guy. What's he doing that's working? And I'll get several ideas from them, and then I sit back, and I'll probably sit back here in the office. I won't even cut the PC on. I'll just sit here and I'll think, and I'll mold, and I'll find a way to make what they're doing and turn it into something I can use without copying them.
Right. And that's kind of a thing that I've like for advice that I've given people that I know that are starting out streaming. I'm like, well, if you're not really sure like what you're thinking, like it helps to have kind of a theme in mind, but watch other streamers and see what they're doing. And you don't want to copy what they're doing, but you want to see what they're doing that works and see if that's something that you can kind of maybe like influence some of what you're doing for it. Like, how can you take that and make it yours? And some people get that, and then some people don't. And it's sort of a monkey see, monkey do kind of situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my strategy's been like the podcast is literally the birth of that. I'm not good at Call of Duty. I don't want to compete with 10 million streamers to play a game that, and I'm mid at it at best. And then
Hmm.
I wanted to lean on something that I'm naturally good at. I like writing, I like reading, I like talking, I like meeting new people. I'm like, man, that kind of sounds like a podcast. Hey, Dingy, we should start a podcast. And we were born. But on the other side of things, when we were playing games, when we were doing stuff like that to create content, I use a lot of AI for that. Hey ChatGPT, what are 25 good ideas to stream while playing X game or events or whatever like that? Just prompt ideas, and you scroll through
Mhm.
them. And like, okay, cherry pick that one up, put it in the maybe pile, and then it's just something to do to kill time. Ask ChatGPT for ideas so that like maybe your idea and my idea are similar, or it gives us the same answer. You never know. But then if I give you this tool and you give me the same tool, we're gonna create different different sculptures out of it just because we're anatomically unique people, or you know what I mean by that? Like,
Yeah.
so that's kind
Yeah.
of been my approach for
I mean, I just take whatever the most popular person is doing, and I do the exact opposite.
fair, fair. Um,
I was going to say, touching on this, Peanut Butter in Gaming says, I agree with this copying as a red flag. I've seen it happen with people and it ended badly. And then um, Dingy says, you can take play-ons, but don't copy. It's not original. Then work it into your own thing. Um, yeah. And they're right to that. That's kind of what I think all three of us are saying is like, you want to try to be your authentic self, your original self, be genuine because that's what people really latch onto when they come to look at streamers. They'll come in for a game, but if you are being engaging and genuine and your authentic self, that's what's going to make them stick around. But, you know, it doesn't hurt to see what other people are doing and see if what they're doing that works for them can also work for you, but you don't want to be a straight up copy because then like it feels hollow. I don't know if that makes sense.
I think we all agree with that. Yeah, like phonies always get found out for being phony. Like you'll
Mhm.
Quickly.
always, yeah, quickly. Like it's very usually short lived. Um, to move forward though, I know you were talking about like you're trying to dive into YouTube, right? As another platform that you want to kind of like grow your channel on. Do you have any other platforms you're hoping on getting on? Or are you kind of just sticking to the couple for right now?
I'm active on X. Now, I know it would be very simple for a streamer to stream on X, but before I really stream there, I want to build up kind of a following. That is a little bit, I can say that one's been kind of challenging for me to strike a community there. Uh, just try to get my outreach out.
Yeah.
So that's
Well,
my
I mean,
next
I
goal.
learned
Once
a
I
thing
get,
today.
what's that?
I didn't know you could. I didn't know you could stream on X, so I just learned a thing.
Yeah, well, it's actually, man, it's complicated. If you want to stream on X, you have to have it on your phone in order to go live. You can't do it from the computer for some reason. But
Oh,
you can
no,
have
no.
it where you can go live on your phone, but it's capturing your computer.
Okay.
And then you take that. Once you do that, like you would with Twitch, you take that key, put it in OBS, and bam, you're in. Um, but that one has been challenging to me more so than Twitch was. Uh, and YouTube, I think combined, just because of all the traffic there, everyone goes there. So you're thinking, okay, oh, I'm gonna
Mhm.
get all these people since everyone's there, but it's really tuned to that specific person. So you may be hitting in the niche that that person likes to watch or to scroll through, but there's so many other people, you're still not making it to their timeline. So you've got to find that
Yeah.
sweet spot I haven't found yet.
Well, I mostly just use X to post clips too, and it seems like aside from people I know from the community like Dingy and Looker and a handful of others, seems the only people that ever follow me are either fake accounts or people who are art scammers.
Definitely. Definitely.
Just like, yeah, I got 40 people that follow me and like, 30 of them are probably like fake accounts.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to pivot your content to stay relevant? Like, I know when I first met you, you were all about Tarkov. Literally, I started watching your content because I was like, oh, I really want to play this game. It looks super good, but it looks super expensive. I like the realism of that game, and I know like you played that for a long time, to my knowledge, and
Yeah.
you don't play it now, or do you play it just for personal? Like, did you have to pivot? Is more of the question, if that makes sense.
So Tarkov is I do still play. I kind of play for personal. I've hit my goal on Tarkov. I actually, unfortunately, I didn't do it on live stream, but I did make clips. I've hit Kappa, and see, but Tarkov, man, that is one of the games where I can say it's not really expensive. It is a fun game, but that is the fastest one for you to burn out on. I wouldn't say fastest. It's probably the easiest one for you to burn out on because that game just spawns just a spur of emotions, ups, downs. I've never hated a computer so much in my life, and I've never felt so accomplished in my life in the game. That is more. I see people doing long form content with it, and I'm interested in trying to figure out how I could do it. But for me, Tarkov is my live streamer. That's where I'm gonna go because it's live. It's live action. You don't really want to watch a recording of a guy just going through, these buildings that you would see me go through, or these maps, and it turns out at the end of that recording or into that video you watched, nothing ever happened because they cut it out or they edited it out to meet, like, say, some platforms like TikTok, they'll ban it because it's got weapons and fighting violence. But the traffic and the community I would get through live streaming or posting comedic short clips of it, it just explodes every time I get on. I still have people that'll hit my Discord. Hey, are you getting on Tarkov today? Are you streaming Tarkov today? And when I make my return after I'm, and it will be very soon, within a week, if that, where I am back on Twitch and back live again, it will be Tarkov.
My man.
But that is definitely one where you don't want that to be your full time, because you will eventually start to hate sitting at your computer.
That's fair. Do you think some people are better suited for part-time streaming versus full-time streaming?
I would say, yeah, definitely. I had to learn. I'm not a real big social guy, and I'm not saying I'm against it. I love being surrounded by good people. I love watching and listening and seeing the conversations. But for me, I've never really been the kind of guy that wanted to be in that spotlight. I had to learn to adjust to that in order to stream full time. And for people that have like social anxiety or just get burnt out talking to people, or let's say bad mental health, and I'm not talking down on mental health. I have mental health issues of my own. If you're prone to like mood swings or quick temper, streaming full time probably wouldn't be for you because if you hop on a stream in a bad mood, everyone sees it, whether you think you're putting out or not. I mean, your face is written on your face, it's in the tone of your voice, and it's going to run people off. So people like that, I would say, if streaming is your goal, I would lean part time. And as far as like live streaming, but if you're just dead set on, well, this is what I want to do and I'm going to tackle it regardless of what this guy says, then okay, perfect. Make sure you're doing long form too. That way you're not live. You can edit it. You can see, you can look back and rewatch and see, you're like, oh, I'm kind of being a dick right there. Let me take that out. Rather than being live with an audience and making off the wall comments or these god awful faces or having mood swings and running people off.
Yeah, that's totally fair.
And that's on that same vein, like you should also have the presence of mind, part-time, full-time, or just a hobbyist for streaming. If you're having a bad day, you're not obligated to stream.
Absolutely not.
Nobody's feelings are going to be hurt if you don't turn the camera on that day.
That's right. And I've had streams where, like, I wasn't feeling it that day, but I pushed anyway because that's for me, it's a goal, and I love to chase goals. And I would play, but I would, the mic
Right,
would
and that
be
doesn't
on,
work for
and
everybody, but
the camera would be off. You could just watch the gameplay. You don't have to see me. Or I'll mute the mic until someone would come in, chat, and talk. Then I'll unmute. What's up? I'll talk to you. Things like that.
Right. I mean, that's kind of the beauty of like another reason why I have the avatar is nobody can see me when I'm like not feeling my best. If I'm sniffly or sick, nobody sees the puffy face. Nobody sees
Yeah.
like me having, a bad day or anything, or like maybe I didn't do my hair that day. Nobody sees that.
That's fair. So we'll start with you, Freedom, but I want you guys both to answer this question. If someone is considering going full-time streaming, what's one piece and only one piece of advice you would give them?
In your mind, every time you launch that application, the game, the camera, the software, the main thing that needs to be on your mind is making content, not the live. And it can be short content that you can make clips out of and come back later. And my best example would be one of our fellow Twitch guys, Lumpy. Lumpy, king of trash talking on Call of Duty. The only Call of Duty stream I really enjoy watching just because of his ability to talk trash.
Mm-hmm.
Every time you kick it off, have it in your mind. I need to make content with this. I need to make good content.
Fair. And you, Jynk?
I would say if you plan to go full time, make sure that you have a good fallback plan. So maybe if you're able to quit your job, and do full-time streaming, make sure that you have money in the account just in case it doesn't work out. Because as we know, anything can happen from day to day. You could say the wrong thing by accident, boom, your Twitch is gone. You could, Twitch could get shut down because, they've got a lot of drama going on right now. And who knows? I mean, this site could be gone tomorrow for all anyone knows. And so you
Agreed.
got to have a fallback plan. You cannot put all your eggs in one basket.
So, Jynk, do you want to spend a couple minutes, catch us up on a chat? I feel like there's been a lot of messages in that. Um, if
This
any,
is just dingy, and who cares about him?
well, and there's Cyclops came in here too.
I know, I saw that. Um, yeah, it was back. So I saw something that Peanut Butter said that was interesting. It was when we were talking about the different content, and Peanut Butter said that they've had a lot of jealousy in the past with people because of the content that they have with some interactive stuff, and that they find it's very disappointing that people want to hate on hate on you for having that kind of content. I'm not really sure what they were referencing to exactly with that. And then Cyclops and me were joking about how the only followers we ever have are like the cam girls or fake accounts, and we just block them. And then Dingy said, let them all hate and don't let it get to you, which is wise advice.
Yeah.
And then Snake came in and immediately went to lurking, but we thank you for the lurk anyway. And then Dingy also said he's going to lurk and go play cards because I guess that's more entertaining. And then Peanut Butter responded, it used to get to me, but now I just continue with what I'm doing. Like they asked me how I do it, but it takes all day to do. And like I started charging for my own time and they didn't and like it. So pie to them, which I'd actually like to know, Peanut Butter, what kind of interactive content you're talking about, because that sounds really interesting, actually. And then Cyclops guy says TikTok doesn't seem to have a problem with the violence in the games they play, but if there's any nudity, they will ban you temporarily almost instantly.
are you
And
showing
they
your
seem to
titties,
have no
Mr.
problem
Cyclops
with
guy?
uh say what?
Oh,
Oh.
he's like, if there's nudity, is he on camera? I'm showing his. Never mind. I digress. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, like Outlast Trials has both violence and nudity in it, so I kind of guess I get that. It says, and they seem to have no problem with Casey Anthony coming onto your platform and making money from them. I'd love to be a full-time content creator. I have the personality for it, but I also need to have good work/life balance, which I totally get that. Shorty Fran is in the house. And then Peanut Butter said, if people see you being successful, they like it rather than see you in they don't like it. They'd rather see your downfall. You just got to find the right people who cheer for you when you're doing good. And that's probably true for most things. That people, they get their jealousy of why is this person got something I don't, and rather than try to do their own thing, they just want to tear you down. Um, Chaos,
So
I guess.
can
And
I
then
comment on
Cyclops,
that? Can I interrupt you for 1 sec? Uh,
yeah, and then I'll pick up with what Cyclops said.
yeah. Peanutty buddy, when you're surrounding yourself with people, I'm a firm believer you want to associate with people that believe in this motto: a rising tide raises all ships. If people around you are trying to build you up when you're down and cheer you on when you're up, as long as you give them the same energy that they give you in that regards, a rising tide will raise all ships. My community's gotten better, and I've gotten better with my community, but I support, love, encourage each other and stuff like that. Like the drama free, exactly what Freedom said, but the rising tide raises all ships. I think that's a motto that more people need to hear and more people need to preach.
I
Yeah,
agree.
but also you got to go by the motto. It takes 256 muscles to smile, but it only takes 4 muscles to cock that arm back and slap that motherfucker across the face.
Fair, fair.
I can say peanut butter. Uh, you got to consider the source too. Now you got guys that they're scrolling through your videos, your lives, and they're throwing misery. They're talking trash. They're spreading hate, and it's just
Mhm.
because at the end of the day they're not happy in their own life, and I just ignore them.
There's some people that just like what is it that Alfred said in the second Batman movie? Some people just want to see the world burn. They have no joy in their life. The only pleasure they get is
Yeah,
by shitting on other people.
That's
And
right.
they have no goals, they have no hobbies, no anything. The only thing that they don't even really get pleasure from it, but that is the only, I guess, entertainment that they have is to just go and try to tear other people down and just be a dick,
agreed.
And that's one of the problems with, like, I feel like social media gave is for the anonymity, that's a big issue with it, that people feel because they're anonymous, they can say whatever they want,
With no
regardless of the fact that
repercussions.
there's not a person.
Yeah,
Yeah, well, they don't care about the feelings of the person they're saying it to because they don't acknowledge them as a person. They're just a face in the void on a screen or words out there in the ether.
yeah.
So, but to come back around, try and catch them on all the chats. Cyclops says that's what Matt Malone TV did. He was able to quit his job and stream full time. He's married with 2 kids and wanted to make sure he had enough in the bank in case his online career goes belly up, which is
Smart.
exactly what everybody should do. Um, like I think you should definitely have a comfortable nest egg before doing any kind of, and it's true for like not just going over streaming full time. Like if I wanted to go and like do my art full time or start being a writer full time or maybe even just swap jobs. I mean, you definitely want to make sure you have some kind of fallback plan. Says my channel points, you redeem it, and stuff comes up on the screen. I think I maybe missed part of that conversation. It's a silly little thing, but yeah. Oh, okay. So you're talking about your channel points. Oh,
Yeah.
for the interactive stuff. Okay, that's cool. I never really like got a handle on all that for the alerts and stuff. Sorry if I think I'm being negative about this stuff. It's just been my experience. I mean, it's your lived in experience. We have no right to tell you like how you are to feel about people coming in and being, dickholes to you because you came up with a cool thing and they couldn't figure out how you did it. And rather than them ask you how to do it or take the time to like pay you for your time to help them also do something like that, they just shit all over you. I mean, that's not your fault. And, it's fine if you feel like you had a negative experience about it, but just remember, you're here among friends and we're going to lift you up, buddy.
Yeah.
And then Cyclops Guy says, that's why I love this community. I mean, like, don't we all? He says,
Thank
yeah, I
you.
agree 100%. And then, can you Freedom's Twitch link, please. And Shorty Fran, I will get you that here in just a moment because I believe I am at the end where it says Bo is spitting facts. I don't know who Bo is.
First time chatter.
And then Freedom Slanger, it's cool. I got you with the link because
Got you covered.
like it's not set up to post links in here, but
Cool.
I got you. And then with all the languages they could learn, they decided to talk shit. 100% Cyclops. 100%.
So, Freedom, what kind of schedule would you set for yourself if you went, if you had to do this all over again, but say you're fresh into streaming, what kind of schedule would you set for yourself? Would you stick to the earlier day, go to that morning, afternoon crowd, or would you try to gear yourself more towards the evening, late night crowd?
That's a tough. I would probably stick with the early to midday crowd. I actually, I found that to be a little more lucrative, at least in my niche, in the type of games that I play. Because, I mean, you get you guys at work, they're bored, they're not, they're blue collar and they're a slow day, or they're sitting at a desk, and they want to watch something toxic, which, for lack of better terms, a lot of the games I stream they're toxic.
Fair.
So I provide them with a good little distraction from the day. I'll break up their mundane while they're at work. They see me screaming and crying and cussing out I don't know, an NPC or sometimes even another player, just depending on, how they killed me. And it helps them get through the day. So, and I like that. I like, hey man, work sucks. Let me tune into Freedom here. What's he got going on? And granted, I'm over here dying. My work sucks too, but I'm making your day better,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It works out.
That's totally fair.
All right. I don't really have a schedule. I'm just like, whatever time I just decide to go live is when I do it. And then I think my only really set thing is like, I don't try to go past 4 hours. Because by that time, my voice is giving out because I've been reading everything.
So, Freedom, what is your goal? Like, I know we talked a little bit like pre-stream and stuff like that, and you touched on it a little bit at the beginning. Do you have like specific goals, landmarks, and stuff like that you've set out for yourself to deem yourself successful, or to just reach your personal goals?
Yeah, my end goal, my castle, as it were, where I'm trying to get to, would be partnerships. Luckily, I'm pretty much on the path with Battlestate Games right now to be a partner. I've been featured through Tarkov and Battlestate themselves several times, both during their events, on their sites. But I don't want to stop at partnerships. My end goal is absolutely going to be, I want to be one of those guys that you see, not quite at the streamer awards, but you see pushing out to charities, taking care of, let's say, cancer patients or veterans, which is a very special thing to me, wounded warrior, things like that. I've worked with charities in past careers. I would like to take my streaming there to the point where I have enough of a community, enough of a following, not to make myself rich, but to turn around and direct that energy, that community towards a charity. Take care of them. I can take care of me,
Yeah.
send your money that way. And that's what I would like to be known for. Not let's say, to bring that into an example, to kind of really dumb that down. You got your guys like Doc, big money. Yeah, then you got your guys like Lupo. Send it to the charity here, which St. Jude's is generally his main one. Like the most touched, I've watched one stream and I said, that's who I want to be. That's where I want to take it. Is I watched Lupo receive the $1 million check from Twitch itself to give to St. Jude's.
Wow.
That's where I want to go.
I didn't know that was a
That's
thing.
awesome.
And kudos to you for that. Like, there's not enough people that believe in giving back to their roots. Because that's the way I see charities. Like, I once had nothing and now I have something. I want to give back to where I came from, because like I come from very humble beginnings, we'll call it. Peanut Butter Gaming says, how long have you been both streaming on Twitch? Sorry if you already asked by someone else, but I missed it.
Like,
Oh man, I'd say 2 years total.
Okay, and how long have you been going full time?
I started in August of 2024 is when I came home and I said, you know what, I'm gonna do it. I'm just gonna hit it.
And just for a follow-up question to that, do you know what your stats are on Twitch? Like, have you been?
I know, like, let's see. I've known Trace for 2 years now, and I started streaming like 6 months after I met him. So I would say I was affiliate, um, like, I think I've been affiliate for like 18 or 19, 20 months, something right around in there. But I was streaming for maybe like a month or two before that.
Yeah.
So things where I started streaming and then I'm like, okay, well, I want to be affiliate. So I just blew the conch shell and was like, assemble. And then I had like all these people that showed up for the stream for just that week to get me affiliated, and
Very
they all
nice.
left.
I
So
made
I think
affiliate. Thankfully, it was Luker and Dingy. They were the first people that I really reached out to after I think I met Luker in a group on Facebook and he added me, and I kind of leaned on those two. All right, so what do I need to do here? What do I need to change? Uh, so
Yeah, I
that
remember
was
that. Uh, that it had to have been around the August time, because that's when I started to like reach out to grow my community, and I just like my goal was I just watched streamers and looked at other people's links and stuff. This person looks like he's putting in the work. That's the kind of guy I want in my community. And I just been literally trying to cherry pick people that I thought were good streamers, good people that are working hard to better their craft. Because some people like, I'm live. Like, yeah, that's not the energy I want. I want people that are like, oh man, like. And the first couple streams I've ever watched of yours, you were saying some inappropriate words that I will not repeat on my podcast because you were getting picked off. And yeah, I thought it was quite entertaining. I'm like, yeah, he's one of us. He's my people.
I'll bring comedy if I bring nothing else.
Yeah, for sure. I respect
I
that.
mean, I bring absolutely nothing to the table.
Fair. You actually know a boatload of people, Jynk, and that's one thing that you definitely do is you have a very big network with you, of very good people around you that, yeah. So that's something. So don't sell
I have a
yourself
way of
short.
being good streamers and then telling streamers to go raid those other streamers
Yeah,
so that they get like a 40 years gamer was. I think you know him, Looker.
yeah,
He was in my channel last night when I was playing. I forget what the hell I was playing. But I was like, well, I'm going to read out to Cap Queen, who is one of the people I know who's partnered. I said, well, 40, you play a lot of Fortnite. She plays a lot of Fortnite. If you've never seen her streams or talked with her before, I'll make an introduction when we raid over. And then maybe, like, if you hang out in her chat more, then he can play with her when she does a playing with viewers stream for Fortnite and then become part of her community and maybe get more people that will come watch him stream so he can be affiliated finally.
yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what I do. Like, I guess that's really like more than streaming. I just introduce people to each other.
Perfect. To cycle back, Freedom, have you ever looked at your like official Twitch stats?
Now, when you say Twitch stats, what? Give me some specifics here. What are we talking?
So like because Dingy's the person that showed me this, so I'll send you a link if you haven't. But there's like a Twitch site that you could go to, and it'll literally tell you your ranking, your percentage, your viewers. It has your whole history and algorithm of everything you've ever done on Twitch done. Right?
I don't know offhand. I know for my 2024
Is that the
recap.
Twitch tracker?
Oh, yeah, Twitch tracker. But
Yeah,
go ahead.
I've never used it. I don't know. For my 2024 recap, I know I was in the top 10 for Tarkov naturally.
Yeah.
Call of Duty, 6 Days in Fallujah, and now I still question the Call of Duty because but I just know as far as my stats, that's where I was at the end of 2024. I know for some I was pretty high up. For others, I was kind of low on the totem pole.
Okay, well, I'm gonna send you a link for Twitch Tracker. That's what the app's called. I don't know.
Wow.
I don't know if you care about it being being personal or anything like that. Would you like me to let you know what your stats are?
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll pull that up. It'll be a fun little side channel here. And then I'm going to go like that. Control V. Okay. Because I live in this here. Like me personally. So you aren't ranked yet. So I'll say that much. You were created in September 16th, 2003. Your status is affiliate. You average a gained followers of 11 per cycle for 3 months. 11 new followers for 3 months. And yeah, your highest number of views right now was on January 2nd with 8. And you have a total of 59 streamed viewers. But I believe that is because you changed names.
Yeah, I switched up right there at the beginning of January.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I'll send you the link. It's pretty cool. You can literally look at all your streams, everything that has, and like Tarkov's like your best performer by far, and like pretty solid numbers like straight across. Yeah, when you have some time, I'll send you the link. You should take a look at it because it literally has all your specs on it, and this is what I use to measure, right? And
Perfect. I appreciate you.
Yeah, because like exactly what we were talking
I
about.
think mine's going to give you the complex.
Say that again, Jynk.
And I think mine's just going to give me a complex. It says that I'm ranked 395,119.
So the last time I checked mine, I was in February. I was in the top 3%. I averaged, I think it was like 29 viewers per stream, and I was ranked 235,000. Which I was like, whoa, like how is that even possible? I think the podcast is like my numbers are good on the podcast, really bad on everything else. So I think that's why, but I think this is like the best content I create personally. I also put the most work into this content, so kind of reap what you sow on that one there. Anything you'd like to kind of tell us about yourself to kind of, because we're getting close to the end of the stream here. Anything else you'd like to tell us here about yourself there, Freedom?
I mean, I think we pretty much got the gist of the idea with me. You watch the YouTube, we're putting out. I've been dwelling in the horror games lately, the quick playthroughs. I've got plenty of jump scares on the YouTube now. We've got my schedule right now is going to be whatever series I'm on currently. Subnautica, loving it. I love the ocean and the survival. That's Monday and Friday. Scary games will be uploaded to YouTube early day Wednesday. So that's kind of your breakup with me. You have horror series. I'm always open to ideas. If somebody has a game they want to see me play, if they have one that I haven't discovered yet myself, feel free to shoot me a message. Facebook, Discord, X, Twitch, Whisper. I'll see it. And I appreciate everybody that comes out and spend time with me.
Awesome. Do you have a link tree by chance?
I don't as of yet. Really, I'm still kind of raw dogging it out in the world right now. My Facebook has pretty much all my links there. You'll see Perfect. As I post videos and things like that.
Awesome. Well, I'll make sure to tag your Facebook in all my posted content. I'll also send you a copy of the VOD, just so if you want to do any raw edits, unless you'd prefer me to do a final edit and then send it to you.
Whichever is easiest for you. If you want to edit it, then send. I'll post it up as you make it. If you want to send me the raw, I can edit it myself. But it probably wouldn't be much I'd edit out if I were to post it. I'd from the moment it kicked off to the time it ended, I'd just throw it up on the page.
Perfect. So then, Jynk, do you want to quickly just catch us up on the chat? I'll finish out through the intro, and I'll give you each one more chance to say goodbyes and stuff like that.
Excuse me. Yeah, Joe says that he's never looked himself up on the Twitch tracker, but he guessed at some point he had a peak of 51 viewers.
Woo!
That's pretty cool.
Oh yeah.
It's a big one.
He says it's cool to see those stats. I mean, yeah, it is, but I don't know. Mine are so low. But and then he says that he also asked if Freedom has his own Discord, and I was gonna say that most likely, but you can also find Freedom in Looker's Discord as well.
I do actually have my own Discord. It's Freedom Slingers Hangout.
Freedom Slinger or Slayer?
Slanger.
Slanger.
Just like the name. Yeah, Freedom Slanger. You got to put that twang on it. Freedom Slangers Hideout. If and my personal Discord is still DILF Gaming, which it probably always will be, just in honor of my other half. And I'll probably never change that. So if you want to add DILF Gaming to your Discord, I can add you to my Discord server for Freedom Slanger.
My man. I'm just adding that stuff to chat for everybody. Anybody else say anything there, Jynk?
Off. No, not really. I guess I don't know if I'm gonna stream later. I'm just like I don't know. But I do figure like there's a few people on. I don't know if you have a raid in mind already. Hawk is on. Anthony's on, which we met him last time, I guess. And Hades Rain is on. She's playing Marvel Rivals. I don't know if you've met her before.
Can you send me a few of the suggestions in Discord, and then once at the end of this, I'll quickly filter through. Unless
Yep.
DILF, Freedom Slanger, do you have anybody of your people that are on at the moment? Kind of support for you being a guest and stuff like that. Well, you guys look, just send it in Discord so I can just click and copy it. But I want to say thank you very much for being here, man. This has been a great discussion. If there's one thing we've learned today is that full-time streaming isn't just about playing games all day. It's a grind, a business, and a lifestyle choice that comes with its own set of challenges. Freedom Slanger, thanks for sharing your journey with us. Before we wrap up, we've just finished. Before we wrap up, where can people find you? We've posted all of his links in the channel here. So if I'll post it again just to make sure there. And of course, Jynk, thanks for stepping in as a co-host. It's always great to have you on. Any final words for you guys?
I appreciate everybody coming out, and I say the same thing at the end of every stream, every video, every short. I love you. I appreciate you, and I'll see you on the next one.
And Jynk?
That's pretty much my same thing too. Just see you in the next one, but also just be kind to each other, like the Bill and Ted said, be excellent.
I absolutely
be
love
excellent
that.
to each other.
Before we go, don't forget this podcast is available wherever you tune in, so be free to follow us on Spotify, Twitch, join the Discord to keep the conversation. If you like this episode, drop a review on Spotify, share it with a friend, and let us know, would you go full-time if you had the chance? Why or why not? And that's it for this time. Thanks for hanging out, and as always, let's level up together.
Podcast on. When the lights go low, we're ready to go. Vibes, let the energy flow. Gaming streams and a whole lot more. D&L Podcast with the core. From consoles to PCs, we're breaking the scene. Leveling up, chasing that dream. Community strong, yeah, we're all in. Press play, let the night begin.
D&L Gaming and everything between. Where the pixels shine, the stories beam. From the stream to the chat, we build this team.